Good morning, people. This is Tony Rey-no coming at you from Two Wheel for Fun, as it says on the hat. Today's video was brought to you by a Mr. Stephen Barrett. I had to read his name here. He checked out my video on the fuel pump removal and had a few questions because he has I think he said a 2009 ZZR1400, and he wanted to know if what I had was the same thing he was having with his bike. And I told him I'm not 100% sure, but I have had riders reply to me, some with 50,000 miles on their fuel pumps and no issues, and some have changed their fuel pump out after 10,000 miles. And I believe he said he had 13,000. And I told him I wasn't 100% sure, but changing out the fuel pump or fuel filter is worth a try. Like I was telling him, there are three methods that you can use. The first one is to change out the complete assembly, which is by far the most expensive. And I've done on the video, which you can see somewhere up here. I'll link it up there somewhere, and I'll also put it in the description of this video. The second option is to order a fuel pump repair kit, which comes with the fuel pump, some grommets, and I believe a fuel filter as well. And the third option, which is by far the least expensive, is to order an actual fuel filter to change out in your current fuel pump. The only problem with that is Kawasaki does not make a fuel filter for the fuel pump in the ZX14R. However, you can get another fuel filter, but it is a Kawasaki part number 49019-0013 fuel filter. And this goes to a piece of Kawasaki farm equipment, but it's the same fuel filter that's in the fuel pump of the Kawasaki ZX14R. And my specific model was a 2013 model. However, most of the fuel pumps in the ZX14R series is the same. I'm not 100% sure, so as always, consult your user and our maintenance manual to see if it's compatible. I'm thinking it should be. So with that said, I will change out the fuel filter inside my old fuel pump, which I pulled out of the bike some weeks ago, or was it a few months? I don't know, I think it was a few weeks, but anyway, this is the original fuel pump that came out of my Kawasaki ZX14. So I'm going to break this open, change out the fuel filter, put it back together, and it'll be hopefully good as gold. So let's get into this video. All right, people, here we go. So I have first a Phillips screwdriver. I'm not sure if this is the only tool I'll need, but we'll see as we go along, okay? But for right now, like I said, I have the Phillips screwdriver. I have an original Kawasaki fuel filter, part number 49019-0013, and I have the old fuel pump that I removed off of my 2013 Kawasaki ZX14R. I'm sure this is compatible with other models in the ZX14 series, but to be sure, please consult your user and maintenance manual, because I'm not telling you that this is what you should do. I'm just showing you what I have done with my fuel pump on my ZX14R. As always, like I say, man, you see there are a lot of different things on here. You have a Phillips screw here. Going into this thing, you have another Phillips screw on this side. So instead of trying to remember everything, especially if you're not very mechanically inclined, take pictures take pictures of how the assembly look. Take pictures of it before you remove it from your motorcycle so you'll know how it goes in, like if this sprocket goes to the left or if it goes to the right. You know, things of that nature, where the connector plugs into. Take pictures of all of that so when you go back to install it, you will know exactly where the item goes and which plug goes where, you know, because I'm not very mechanically inclined, so I have to take a lot of pictures and, you know, yeah, so that's that. However, with this fuel pump assembly here, I have removed it quite a few times because someone needed help with the plastic grommets located inside the filter, and they wanted to know, you know, where all of the filters were located, because I guess they forgot to take pictures. But anyway, so I've had this apart about 2 or 3 times, and now that Stephen Barrett is having issues, I figured I'd give a how-to on the least expensive method on getting that. Now, it's still time-consuming because you have to, you know, take some fairings off, remove the fuel tank, remove the fuel pump in order to get in the inside and change the fuel filter. But a little bit of time, a lot less money, and hopefully it will give you a smaller headache once you're done, because your bike should run fine. So with that said, let's get into this fuel pump. And so obviously the first thing you want to do is remove these 2 leads here. I'm assuming one's positive, one's negative, or we'll just say leads because I don't want to confuse anybody. But as you can see, one has a black cover, one has a white cover. The white cover is on the right-hand side, the black cover is on the left-hand side. I don't know how your memory is, but as I said, just take a picture. So if you do forget, you have a picture to go by. All right? So with that said, we'll remove those, and we'll remove the other one, okay? And then as you see, there's a little channel here that they actually go in, and you can just snake those through. Hope that's coming through okay. Snake that through the channel and just leave them on the side like so, because there's nothing else you have to do with those for the moment. All right, so remember, the white is on the right side and the black is on the left side. Right side, left side. And again, it shouldn't be too hard to remember because after all, you took a picture, right? So we'll need a Phillips screwdriver to remove both of these. And again, take a picture, because this one here, you see the black lead goes to this screw, but there's no lead on that screw. So if you didn't know that, then you'd probably get them reversed and something may not work. But all right, so let's take this off. Okay, and we'll put that down. Okay, and then we'll take the other one off. And the screws aren't very tight, and I don't know the specific torque specifications, if there is any, for these screws that are holding the housing together. But if you are concerned, again, refer to your maintenance manual so you can get those proper torque specifications, if any. All right. So now, once you have those 2 screws removed, so hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I had to go get a flathead screwdriver because I'm pretty sure there's some prying. If I remember correctly, there's some prying that you have to do in order to get this this housing off. So basically, just put that in there lightly. You don't have to, don't force anything. Just do things, lightly. Okay, people, so we've removed the 2 screws from each side of the housing. And what you want to do is you want to slide this part off. I can't stress enough, take pictures of everything. And you're going to slide this off. Now, this brown looking cable, yours may be a different color, but mine is brown. It was or wire. It was actually in this little side housing here. So basically all you have to do is just route it out, and then when you slide this off, you can lay that to the side like so. Okay. The next thing you want to do is you want to separate the upper part of this fuel pump housing thing from the bottom part. So what you want to do is you want to take, you might want to try to pull it apart first, but if you can't pull it apart, just work it a little bit with a screwdriver. Again, you don't want to force anything, but just keep prying at it, and eventually this will pop. Now, when this pops, it's not going to come all the way off. You're just going to hear it pop and give way to where you can be like, oh, okay, I can actually move that now. And when you move that, if you're only replacing your fuel filter, be mindful of the grommets that are in here. It should be 3. There's one here. There's another one inside of the top that you removed right here. And there's a 3rd grommet inside of this little part here, but you don't have to remove that, so don't worry about that. Okay, so just put that to the side, and yeah, you can just put that to the side. And now that this is off, you can kind of slide this housing up a little more on these little brackets. Again, it might be a sorry, I got that out of view. It may be a little hard to pry, but just keep prying at it, and eventually that will slide off. Okay, and as you can see, this little plastic grommet came off of the part that's in there. So watch for your grommets. Okay, you don't want to lose those. If you do, you're going to have to order more. All right, and now that that is slidden off, you don't have to take it all the way off of the rails. As you see here, there's one rail here and there's another one here. Now mine came off a little bit because there's a little recess point here, but you can just put it back and slide it up and down. And the reason I'm showing you that is because you don't have to take this all the way off to remove the fuel filter. If you look under there, you'll see the dirty and pretty bad fuel filter right there. That's the fuel filter right there. That's what we want to change in this fuel pump assembly. And again, Kawasaki doesn't make a fuel filter for the Kawasaki ZX14R. Matter of fact, in their owner's manual and maintenance manual, the fuel filter is not part of the routine maintenance. So it's basically ride to failure. And then when the fuel filter gets clogged and people experience their bike stuttering or loss of power, they automatically think fuel pump, right? So what do? You go out and you buy a new fuel pump or a complete fuel pump assembly for, I think it was $360 or $390, something like that I spent. And the reason I chose to get the entire fuel pump assembly is because when I was coming back from my Alps tour, I put a lot of stress on that fuel pump because I didn't know what was wrong with my bike. So I opted to err on the side of caution and just buy the complete assembly, change out everything and be done with it. But now I'm here to give you another option, which is changing the fuel filter. So let's get this open and you will see the difference in the fuel filter and why the bikes tend to stall. I'll pull this out again. Again, there's, can you see that official number there? I'm trying to get it in the light here. It's right here. There you go. And if you can't see it, that Kawasaki part number is 49019-0013. And you can order it off of Amazon for, I don't even think this thing was 15 bucks. Okay. So we're gonna get this open here. And I tell you, man, it's $400 or less than 15 bucks. What do you want to spend? And you can see how this looks. And when I bring the fuel, you know what? Let me just go ahead and take that off so you can really see what's going on. Let's take that all the way off. And when you pull this assembly off of the rails, if you haven't pulled your grommet off, it may pop off somewhere, but be mindful of this grommet. It goes right here. It sits right here on this housing in between the little recess part there. So don't forget that. Don't forget that, okay? And so you see that little black looking thing there? And you see the new one. You see the difference, right? So now you can understand why the bike was sputtering, giving me the sensation that there was a loss of fuel, no power, things of that nature, because gas was not getting through here. Look at that. Look how clean that one is. And again, this is my bike had, I'm not sure of the exact mileage, but close to 50,000 miles. I think it was like 47,000, maybe 48,000 and some change. But yeah, but this is the original fuel filter that's been on this fuel pump. So enough talk, let's get that out of there. And as you can see for the new one, it just snaps in there. So basically you can just pull that one out, unsnap it. And yes, you have to play with it a little bit. You may even have to get a little screwdriver under there. I mean, it's the old filter, so I'm not really worried about it. And it just pops up like so. Okay. And there's no plastic grommets under there, so you don't have to worry about that. But, you know, snap off, snap on. And, yeah. This is the old, this is the new. As you can see, exact same part through and through. One is very dirty. The other is clean. And as I'm looking down there, you probably can see it too. There's dirt residue down there from, I'll put it on my finger here so you can see it. Yeah, real fine powdery mesh. So be sure, you can probably see it on the towel there that where I just dusted it off. So take an edge of another towel. I'm gonna get out of camera here, and well, you know what? It's anyway, yeah. Take an edge, clean that out. Now I'm just going to pop the new one on there because again, like I say, I don't, the fuel pump was working when I got back to the house. So I'm basically just putting this back together so I can have a spare fuel pump in the future if, one, if I keep the ZX14, and two, if I ever run into this issue again. So basically you take the new fuel filter and snap it into place. Based off the pictures, it went in like so. So you can just it's still not in there. Oh, it was in there. Oh, I see. So you have to, yeah, you gotta hold this part too, because what was happening, this part was coming down right here. So basically, I'm gonna put my finger right here and hold that part there. So now, let me fold those up. I'm gonna fold those up like so. And that way I can see a little bit more in there. There we go. Now it's right over the housing. And there. And if you're not sure that that has seated properly, you can always take it back out and put it back in there. But looking in there, down the housing, it looks like it is seated properly, because I'm looking and I don't see any play to the left or to the right. So that is in there pretty good now. All right, so we have replaced the fuel. Again, this is the old fuel filter right here. Yeah, and that is yeah, that's pretty bad. I'm surprised I even got home with that. So the fuel filter has been replaced inside the fuel pump. And now you just want to put this thing back together. Yup. And I'm moving this part here because this, and I'm moving this part over here because as you see, that hole down there is where this end slides through, but the little filter part is on the edge there. So basically, just want to move that out of the way like so. And that way, it will allow you to have a clearance. See that? See? It's clearance all the way to the, there we go. Clearance all the way through the bottom now. Now, you can line this back up. The rails. Hope that is coming through. One rail on this side, and then the other rail on this side, and then you just slide the housing back down. Okay. With new fuel filter in place. And you have to put a little pressure on it to slide it back down. Voila. And the important part in a lot of this is these little plastic grommets here. Like I said, it's 3 of them. 2 you'll be able to see. 1 is located inside of this housing here, which you do not need to pull out. So basically I'm going to put this one back where it goes, which is right here. And the reason these are so important is because these seals seal the fuel pump, I guess kind of making it what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a vacuum. So when the fuel is being pumped through this and the filter and all that stuff is working as one unit, you know, the filters will provide a seal for, I guess, when it has to pull. Well, you know what? I don't even know. What I can tell you is that's where the grommet goes. As far as all the internal workings of the fuel pump, I'm not even going to try to explain that because I don't know. All I know is I changed out my dirty fuel filter inside this fuel pump. Okay, replaced the grommet that came off when you moved the housing up. There's another grommet inside here that you do not need to remove, but just make sure that it's there. Okay, and then what we want to do is turn that over. That goes into there. And again, the rails. We got two rails. Can you see that? So yeah, there we go. Get that. I know this is like a really makeshift video, people, but this only looks difficult. It's really very simple. And put the other rail on that side, and already it's already sliding down back into place. And once that slides down, you just want to squeeze that down like so, and then when that comes down, you just have to add a little pressure to make sure that it snaps back in place. And trust me, you'll know when it snaps back in place, because you can't mistake that little suction. There you go. And when I said there you go a second, I heard a kind of a little bit. So that was all of the grommets going back into place where they're supposed to be. Okay. And now that we got that back together, you want to take this thing here, and in the back there's a groove right here. Can you see that? Where the long part goes into. So you just take this and get this camera up a little bit. So let's see. Get you guys a little bit more room there. And so basically you want to take this part here and line it up with the groove that's right here in the back. See that right there? A little groove. And you just want to slide that down like so. Let's try that one more time. Slide that in. So you can use your finger to hold the rail and work that one inside, work that one inside, and then it should seat like so. Okay, and you know it's seated because it is like right on top of this thing here, and the screw holes are ready to rock. All right. And now as you're looking, you see these two here, and you see the sprocket right here. I'm pointing that out because that's on, this is the looking down at the fuel pump. This is the right side. So on the left side, is where the grounding wire screws into, right here. Okay, the wire, black wire, goes on this side. And again, you will know anyway, because you should have taken pictures of how your housing is actually set up. And that's why I say I am not so mechanically inclined, so that's why I have to take pictures so I can kind of remember where things go, because I will be the first to get frustrated and take my motorcycle to the shop and say, fix it. That's just the way I am. But if I have pictures and I can see how things are put together, then it's not so bad. Okay, and now you can bring this one back down through this little housing here. And remember, you had two wires, one white, one black. The white was on the right side. Boom. And the black was on the left side. Boom. So again, sorry for all the shaking, but it's back together now. Well, one more screw to go, and you just flip it over and you put this screw here. Back in there. Oh, again, shaking, and voila. I now have a fuel pump assembly that hopefully is ready for use. So that is that. If I was helpful, let me know. Give me a comment down in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell if you want to be informed when new material drops. That said, people, this is Tony Rey-no, over 50, still on 2, and loving it. Peace.